do the Black Panther movie review, which is a long time coming because I saw the movie like weeks ago. But you know, here I am. I did record it before, but the camera was so out of focus that I was like, nah, I'm gonna just do it again because it's blowing me. So I'm gonna try to tell this movie summary as quickly as I can for those who have not seen it. So everybody know that Chadwick is the Black Panther, aka T'Challa. So T'Challa has to return back to his homeland Wakanda to claim the crown after his father has died. What is Wakanda, you may ask? So Wakanda is posing as a third world country, but it's really an advanced civilization where science and technology are light years ahead of any other nation. And that is because they have an element called vibranium that is used in absolutely everything that they have, from their clothes to their weapons to their technology, everything. Vibranium is the shit, and everybody wants it, so that's probably why they keep it on the low, because you know, greedy Americans. So yeah, he take the crown, he earn his suit, you know, whatever. Everything seem all cool, like everything looking right, everybody looking good, all the melanin is popping, everybody's wardrobe, you blue pizza, that green, yo, they was looking so good. Like, Marvel did them right. They really did this, and they really surrounded it around people of color who had darker complexions, which is rarely seen. A lot of people were complaining about the lack of representation for lighter skinned Africans or lighter skinned blacks, and I knew about the complaints before I even came in, so I was like, you know what, let me just see how many light people are in there. And y'all was there, sprinkled around somewhere, just like y'all like to do us. I mean, I don't know why y'all said there was no representation. Go back and see it, because y'all was there. So Michael B. Jordan comes into the picture, aka Killmonger, and he a hood nigga for real, but he has his own reasons for coming to Wakanda. His father is a native to the nation, which is also the brother of T'Challa's father, who was the king. So they basically related. So he comes to claim the crown, and everybody is looking around like, who is he? Nobody knows who he is. Yeah, because the murder of his father, which was committed by the king, was covered up for years, so nobody knew about it. Nobody knew that he had a kid with an African-American woman. Finding out that he is actually blood, he is now eligible to fight T'Challa for the crown. So they go out to the same waterfall that he was fighting thick ass, fine ass, and M'Baku at. He lost, but you know, I still. Everybody was like, yeah, T'Challa got it, you know, just watch and see. And then Killmonger told his backstory, and then I think we all figured out that he was not the one. He trained all his life to kill T'Challa as revenge for his father's murder, which is understandable. And he has totally different intentions. He sees what Wakanda is about, and he knows about the refugees that come to visit America to help fellow people of color. But he believes if he has his hands on vibranium weapons, they should spread it across America to give to different black people to fight white people back. So basically, he wanted reverse slavery, which is a bad idea, but I understand where he's coming from. And I think everybody kind of understood where they was coming from. Because here we got Wakanda living lavishly, and we dodging bullets, and we all look the same, so it's like, so you see them fight or whatever, and Killmonger really winning out here. He really threw T'Challa off the waterfall, and you like, damn, he really did. So then Killmonger takes the throne, and I mean, he fucked shit up, literally. So the queen and the princess go to M'Baku, and turns out he was a good sport and rescued T'Challa from the bottom of the waterfall. So for real, he was just in the back laying in some snow, refrigerating, you know, because that's how they found him. And if they stopped, he might have died. I think we all just shocked that he's alive. After having this telepathic conversation with his dead daddy and all that, he wakes up, goes back to take his crown once again, and Killmonger is really not having it. He's already in the process of shipping all these vibranium weapons across the world, so he getting shit done. So when T'Challa comes through, now Wakanda is split in half. The people who are loyal to the throne and people who are loyal to the king. So that's when we have a brawl. We have a conflict. Everybody's fighting. Killmonger is killing people for no reason. So T'Challa and Killmonger really going at it, and at the end of the day, T'Challa does stab the mess out of Killmonger. And he even said it was a nice shot, which it was. I saw it in 3D, the knife was all up in my face, it was lit. So Killmonger, as he has this knife stuck in his chest, he's talking about how his father always promised him that he would see the nation of Wakanda. And T'Challa, being the good sport that he is, being the good king that he is, picks my mans up and goes to the horizons, he's talking about how beautiful it is, and T'Challa offers to help him, and Killmonger makes the most iconic quote in history. Like, I didn't want him to die, because I mean, who wants Michael B. Jordan to die? But if he didn't die, this wouldn't have been so impactful. He said, "You can throw me in the ocean with the rest of my ancestors, because they knew that death was better than bondage." Because at the end of the day, he would have to be locked up. He would have to go to jail for killing everybody that he did. So he knew that death was better than bondage, which I think applied to so many different things. He pulls out this knife, internally bleeds, and dies. So I guess everything goes back to normal. But at the end, we get a little surprise. And then T'Challa takes his sister, the princess, down to basically the projects that Killmonger grew up in, and in front of the building that the king killed Killmonger's father in. And she's asking, why are we here? Like, what is this? And that's when he tells her, I bought that building, and that building, and that building. Basically just the whole block. Because it was time to show other people of color that the people of Wakanda do care about you. We do see you. Like, they do see you. As much as they feel ignored, at the end of the day, we're all kings and queens. And I thought that was the best part of the movie. They didn't have to do all that. And they left us with a little cliffhanger. They didn't have to do us like that. We were so shook. I was so shook. Marvel did that movie. That's all I got to say. So I have several different interpretations that I took from this movie. Only seeing it once. I do plan on seeing it again, but based on the first watch, these are kind of the things that caught my attention the most. Killmonger was one of the most necessary characters, especially in a black movie, because it does show the divide between Africans and African Americans in general. And there is a divide, even though a lot of people confuse the two. These are two different cultures, African American culture and African cultures, because there's more than one, are two totally different things. And sometimes we even clash, even though we look like each other. And too often I hear that black Americans feel as though Africans think that they are above us because they have a direct line back to their culture. Ours was basically cut off. And it's always portrayed that our culture starts from slavery. And speaking of, I've definitely noticed the selective attention from black non-Americans when it comes to black culture. Non-American black people always want to have unity when it comes to the culture, our slang, the music. And, oh yeah, we're all the same, but I swear when it comes to Black Lives Matter and marching for the same people who gave you those rap songs, who gave you those movies, who gave you that style, who gave you that slang, it's just crickets. And Killmonger's whole thing is that he believed that if we gave vibranium weapons to other black people in the world, that they would have a chance to fight back, which basically translates to reverse racism. And T'Challa tries to make this point to him that this is not the way. Like, we don't need to become them, because then it's just going to create another generation of slaves, because we cannot punish white people today for something their ancestors did. The most we can do is educate these people and let them know, because a lot of history, a lot of true facts about history is not even taught in school. So it's every system that's corrupt. There's so much history to this country that they keep away from people. And the ignorance runs in everybody. At the end of the day, the first thing that black people learned when they got to this country is division. They are different from us. And just like they benefit from the systems that their ancestors set up and their personal views during that time, the idea of division still remains in American culture, because we believe in hierarchy. Someone has to be on the bottom for somebody else to be on top. Colonizers taught us their way of vision and hierarchy, and basically how they stay on top. So to put it in an analogy, they believed in the same house but two different floors, when it should really be the same house in different rooms. Everybody's on the same level, but this sense of hierarchy always leads to inequality. And it's embedded in everything. It's in our justice system, it's in our schools, it's even in little things like how you associate dark with bad and light with good. And having good hair means to have straight hair and not, big hair. And how it somehow makes sense that we're blamed for every violent crime when all the domestic terrorism is carried out by whites. The reason why the most educated black person on this earth can put on a gold chain and stack their pants and they immediately become the N-word. or a thug. So to relate this all back to Killmonger, it makes sense why he feels the way he feels, and it's a very rational response and a very accurate response that's coming from an African American seeing people who look like them enjoy their luxury while other people that look like them are suffering. I hope people understand why this whole reverse slavery thing is wrong, because then we just continue the chain of oppression. Then we're not learning from past mistakes. No kind of slavery is the way, but it makes sense why Black Americans feel that way. But at the end of the day, this was all their plan. Make them forget who they are, separate them from their original culture, keep stuffing them with our ideals and everything that they see. Make them forget that they are the ones who populated this earth and denied their capabilities and beauty to only ostracize and exploit it as a negative. Set up a system that is designed against them so that they can never win. These are the same people who decide what's wrong and right, who gets sent to jail and who doesn't. So if the corruption starts this high, it's only a trickle-down effect. So inevitably we're thrown in jail for petty reasons like possession, but at the same time you can literally major in medical marijuana at some universities. So why are so many of our Black men still in jail? And the privilege that belongs to a lot of white Americans is that they can go every day without worrying about this, without seeing this, because it was designed that way, when really their ancestors have created a vicious cycle. And things will not change completely for a while, and it probably won't happen in our average 70 to 80 years on this earth. Slavery lasted for almost 500 years, and all those different generations had some kind of hope. They all did something to push us to where we are today. But in a lot of ways, we must be a martyr to this cause so we can make it better for our descendants, because one day we're going to be the ancestors. And when people who look like us are complacent or act like it doesn't happen or try to ignore it and say like, oh, I don't pay attention to things like that, you should, because this is going to make a better nation for your kids so they don't have to go through what we went through. And we will be the ancestors that they look back and thank and owe everything to, just the same as we look back at our ancestors. And that means small situations like telling your white friend to stop saying the N-word because it's overall disrespectful to the past of my people. And when it comes from people who look like you, it's never positive, because as soon as you say yes to them, you become the representation for all Black people, which is inaccurate, but it gives them enough incentive to keep going with these ignorant views and ignorant comments. So you're basically giving them permission to be ignorant. And this is where the unity needs to come in. We need to educate them instead of getting mad, instead of beating their ass, instead of all these different things, even though we can do that, even though we have all the capabilities to do so and win every time. We can't do that. We can't do that because then we're going to prove their exact point. Have patience, because they don't know what we know, because they didn't grow up in our skin. They can sympathize, but they cannot empathize. Nobody knows what it's like to live in this skin 24/7. They only want what is glamorized on TV. Hence the fact that they have to pay for the things that we naturally have. But at the same time, the originators of such style are shamed and ostracized and undermined and discredited and looked down on, at all of the above. So this movie will not end racism, but it is a good start. By giving representation to people of color who do not fit into white ideals is the beginning of a whole new era. And then our kids will be very grateful that they have a movie like this. I wish I had this in my childhood. So I'm glad that my kids are going to grow up with Black Panther, with A Wrinkle in Time, all these beautiful kids movies that are featuring dark women or dark people and making them look beautiful instead of stereotyping them. There was no angry Black women, there was no sassy. It was so refreshing to see my skin color with a crown on it. So I guess that's it. My camera's about to die, but I can go on and on about this topic. Black Panther, Marvel, thank you. Thank you for giving us representation. Positive, beautiful, high budget representation. And I hope that we'll be acknowledged for that instead of being acknowledged for roles like slaves and drug dealers and thugs and drug addicts. I hope every Black person that walks out of this movie knows that they're queens and kings, and this is definitely a Black moment, a Black pride moment, but everybody should watch this movie. I'm glad we're being represented in such a positive way, because it means so much to me to watch with my own eyes, and it's gonna mean the world